Okay, I needed a few minutes. So, we finished at 12, and I've got my last ones for this video. Number 13. It is okay to change your major, as long as you finish the degree or degrees that you are passionate/interested about. What I mean is, sometimes things don't go the right way for many different reasons, and it's not your fault. Sometimes maybe you need to take a break on that degree that you are taking and find something else that you are also passionate about or that you love to replace it because of many reasons. Or maybe you don't like that anymore. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not a major that you love anymore. Or maybe it's something that you're not interested in anymore. But maybe in the future you can come back to it and get the degree anyways because you love it, or maybe because maybe it'll work within the actual profession that you want to go into in the future. So there's always a chance to always change your major, but make sure to finish your degree as quickly and as efficiently, and sometimes as long as you need to. As long as you get the degrees that you need so that you can go on to your master's, your PhDs after your bachelor's degree. So definitely, it's always okay to do that, especially if you really need it. Travel the world. It gives you a deeper perspective on life and what is happening in the world. Going from many point of views and opinions, the reason being I say this is that sometimes when I hear people, they talk about, oh, you know what's happening in this country or this state or this place or that place, and they usually don't have the right perspective or understand why these people had to leave a country or had to leave a state or had to move or had to go somewhere else. And this goes on with a lot of different things that I'm not going to really explain in this video, but if you look at the news right now and kind of the things that are happening in the world, you notice that it's not exactly finite. Yes, there is a reason being that, of why certain things are happening where you're just like, how can this be happening? They're protected under this law, but yet they're being, taken out of specific countries or specific areas due to many reasons. And you just look at it and you're just like, well, it's not exactly their fault. They had a reason why they had to go there. Well, they're doing something that's wrong. And I can say, okay, sure, but let's look at it from another perspective. Why do you think they left that country? Why do you think they're here? Why do you think they're in the US, or why do you think they are in this other country? Like, there's many reasons. You can't just put that one definitive answer on, oh, we need to take them out or move them around or, deport them. It's not exactly a fun deal. So that's my opinion on that, but also just, traveling really does give you a perspective, and it broadens at times, and it also specifies and analyzes your perspectives so that you can see it from a broader aspect, but also from a more critical and more definitive lens on what you're trying to think about and your opinions on it. Know when to drop your class with or without a W. A W is usually meaning that you withdrew from a class if you feel you can't make it. Because there's times where you don't get the best professor, or the professor just doesn't work with you, or many other reasons, underlying reasons, and usually it's not your fault unless you're, not doing the work at all. But, there's times where it's like you have to, It's not going to work out so well and you don't want to get an F and you don't want to fail the class. So it's better to sometimes take that W and try again. Because sometimes things don't work out the right way. So then you try again and you push yourself and you do what you have to do. Alright, that was 15. Number 16. Even when you fail, get back on your high horse and move forward. So this is the same thing with the withdrawal thing. If you decide to stay in that class and you really want to push it and you really want to finish that class, make sure to know that if you decide to do that and you fail the class, get up with your head held high and look at it again, and then choose a different professor or choose the same professor and tackle that task head on. Sometimes this also might mean you have to only take 1 or 2 classes, sometimes, depending on your status in your college and your university, and other, various factors. So really push it head on and try your best. What is it now? So that's 16. Oh my gosh, come on. What? Sorry. Okay. 17. Make friends / connections, aka networking. Why do I say that? Because you know that you should know at least that making friends is a good thing, and you will definitely have a much better college experience, but also at the same time, in the job market and in the job world, making connections and networking with friends or people that you know will help you in the future. Maybe they can help you get another job, or you can help them get another job if times are tough and you want to get a specific job or you need a specific reference. This is why you need to get good friends that you can trust and that you are good with, and at the same time, in a lot of ways, they could be a very good network to your possible future job. And by any chance, even though you have a high degree, they might even have a higher degree, or they push themselves to entrepreneur themselves to make their living, make their job, and maybe you weren't able to fully succeed in that at this time, then you can definitely talk to them and they might be able to provide you a job under them, or they might be able to help you out with finding a job through their own reference. So that's definitely another one. Now let's see here. What is the one I'm thinking of now? Oh, yeah. Find new things that interest you or give you purpose. There's always time to learn. There's always time to learn something new. There's always time to see something from another perspective of learning something new, or learning something that you already know, but in a different aspect. Because there's always room for improvement, no matter how good or not good you are at a skill. There's always time to improve and to advance yourself. It's always good to see how other people are able to do other things that you can't do, so that you yourself can also improve, and thus maybe at some point surpass them, or they surpass you with some of the things that they learn from you, vice versa, basically. Life can be like a river. I quoted this as myself, but I don't know if anybody else quoted it, but to me this is my own quote, and it makes so much sense, especially with my own life. Life can be like a river. At times it can be rough, and sometimes it can be soft. So there's always these highs and lows of life and problems that sometimes happen. These midlife crises, these different crises that happen, and you just notice that, things are not working out for you at this moment, well, push through and you will definitely find something better. You will definitely fight through the problems that you're dealing with and fight to get a better degree, or to fight to get a better job, or to fight to fix the economic problem that you're in, because times can be tough for everybody, no matter if you are rich, very, very rich, or you're the poorest of the poor. No matter what, times can get tough, even when things, seem good. At times can get very tough, and you sometimes have to deal with that. Also, it's similar to another thing too, is like the rise and falls of people that have either passed away, your family members, your friends, other people that you know, and just, dealing with that and going through that and trying to push through and, go and think on the positive side. Yes, there's negatives still out there and things, but always try to be positive. Try and think about the positive things to uplift you and move forward through those things. Similar to 19, practice a skill you are not good at, and thus you shall improve, if not a little bit. So this is similar, but there is a difference. Practice a skill that you're really not good at. Maybe it's mathematics, maybe it's reading, maybe it's an essay, maybe it's a skill that you don't even know much about. But once you learn it from somebody, you can improve from that skill that they gave you and maybe surpass them, or maybe, really understand, like, okay, I used to be really bad at this skill. Now I am perfecting it. Now I am a expert at this type of skill. Let me move on to even harder skill, because that will motivate you and push you through to better and higher things. And also obtaining those skills, whether self-taught or from a class, will further you in the future when finding jobs and finding other things that you're passionate about, and just teaching people in general about stuff that you've learned. So definitely something to think about. 22 is analyze your situation or opinions. This is similar to the one with the traveling, is to definitely analyze your situation or opinions. Because sometimes people have opinions, but they never want to see the other side. They never want to stop while they're in an argument and notice, okay, even though I'm making sense, and even though this person might not be making sense in my opinion, let me try to understand their perspective. Let me try and understand their opinion. I might not fully agree with it. I might agree with it. You might still disagree, but at least acknowledge or understand that that is their opinion, and you can kind of see where it makes sense, no matter if it makes sense to you or not. At least that you can capture and understand that it does make sense in some type of way, in some finite, specific piece of way of understanding what they are talking about. Did I skip one? I feel like I skipped one. Yeah, I did skip one. 18. So the one that I skipped by accident is read more. From an essay that I was reading with a friend of mine. She was doing an essay and I was critiquing her essay, and it helped her improve her essay. But she was making a good point with what she was talking about. How social media, and sometimes media in general, sometimes take us away from reading, take us away from actually analyzing some of the text that we use in our day-to-day lives. Sometimes we use them in our essays and don't even know or comprehend them. Sometimes we just copy them because it sounds like something that would favor our opinion, but we never exactly read it detail by detail, line by line, paragraph by paragraph, expression by expression, point of view by point of view. We never really always do that. And when we don't, sometimes it falters our opinion, it falters our point of view, and it falters what we're trying to convey to the person that is reading our essay, reading our point, our conversations in day-to-day life. Sometimes I talk to people and I love when I get into good conversations when they can back it up with their sources and their opinions and their POVs. And really, when you read more, you can definitely find out what is a good quality source and what is a really bad quality source. What is real news and what is fake news. What is actual fact and what is just some random bogus that doesn't make any sense to what they're talking about. Of course, that depends on how your brain and how you conceptualize the article, but finding out what is actually good quality sources and what is not so good quality sources. This is what college tends to teach you that sometimes high school, middle school, and elementary school sometimes don't teach you. Depends on the school, though. But sometimes they don't let you critically think about your source and find out exactly if it is even legible of a source or even professional of a source to use in an essay or in day-to-day life of what you're trying to convey or make. So definitely that. Okay, now back to where I was earlier. When you're old enough, because depending on your age and if you're watching this, if you're old enough to drink, please drink responsibly, because there has been many researches and facts and articles and theses and other things that have said that a lot of people, even on the news, just general news that you see, that people are still doing bad things. They are drunk driving. They are not taking the right precautions when they are drinking. They drink too much. They drink to excess. Their mind is so hazy, they make the most immature mistakes. The most, I guess you can say, dumb mistakes sometimes. Not saying that they are, that way, but they do these things because they're under the influence of the drinks that they're drinking and they don't know exactly what they're doing. So to me personally, if you're drinking, go with a group of friends, go with a group of people, and make sure before you leave that you are taking a cab home, you are walking home if the law permits it correctly, to walk home correctly to where you're going, or just stay at the bar or the place and stay there for a while until you sober up enough to even just walk home. Like, please, people, make good choices when it comes to those type of things. And just to add one more as a bonus is know what is right and what is wrong. Sometimes I feel like as we get older, some people and different people sometimes forget the understandings of what is right and what is wrong with many things that can go into many different topics, and I of course don't have enough time to explain it. But the last one that I'm talking about is really, they sometimes don't know exactly what is right and wrong, or they don't have an opinion that makes sense to what they're making, What I mean by that is people tend to do really, really not good things that put them in the wrong place. And sometimes they sometimes they don't notice that they should have done the right thing, so they wouldn't have went to that place. Hopefully I said that right. If I messed up, you kind of should understand what I mean. But basically, if they did a lot of the wrong, they're going on the wrong path, or they're making a mistake that leads them to go to jail or get in trouble, instead of choosing the right path to be on the good side of doing the right things that are right and logical and understandable. A lot of times people do that, and it's sometimes unhappy and just not right to see, you know, especially if they were trying to make a right point of view or right type of thing, but they go right onto the wrong understanding of what they were doing. You see this in a lot of different types of news articles nowadays, the good quality ones, or at least ones that seem somewhat legitimate, such as, you know, some of the things that are happening now in the news, and, you know, the civil rights movements that are still going on nowadays, and people making their own opinions without even analyzing it and seeing what was right about what they were doing or what was wrong about what they were doing, etc. Anyways, so these are the 23 things, along with the bonus, that I have learned in my 23 years of life, and in the many things that, of course, I have learned throughout my life. The thing, though, is that even out of 24 things, 25 things, I still haven't covered many more things that I have learned through my many years. Throughout my many years that I have, you know, of course, been on this earth, but also of how old I am in general. So it just makes you notice, you know, the grasp and the point of views that you can make in your videos, or in, you know, what I'm doing right now, of what I learned that I could tell you, but it will not even grasp or even reach the surface of a lot of the things that I could definitely tell you. Anyways, you guys have a good day. You guys have a good night. This is the end of the part 2 of this video. As always, there will be a link to the previous video. There will be another link to maybe something that I decide to choose. Over here, of course, always subscribe, and always over there to subscribe to the person that I choose. And to end this video now, I'm going to play part of a song from Happy Death Day. And of course, I will definitely I will mention it in the description with the link that I chose and that I used. But because it was my birthday, and it still is considered my birthday week, even though it's now the 30th, and my birthday is the 29th, I'm going to play this. If I can find it real quickly. There we go. Can I find small? There we go. Okay, the ringtone. It's my birthday.